Hi, my name is Dana Arnett, co-host of Wicked Marketing, along with my partner, Carlos Cepene. You can find more information about us and our business on LinkedIn, or if you have any questions, email us at info@wickedbionic.com. Subscribe to Wicked Marketing on Apple Podcasts and write an awesome review for us. We're also on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. We're going to talk to you today about, by the way, welcome back. We're going to talk to you today about local marketing in your area, how to reach people within your community and targeted markets within your community. Maybe it might be different ethnicities or different cultures. And we've had some great success with this over the last number of years, and I want to share it with you.
Yeah, so like Dana said, we've had quite a bit of experience with this local marketing side, and all the basis of marketing, and this is something that I think we've repeated over and over and over in these podcasts, is that the value of marketing is based on the ability of people to recall your brand or service at the time of intent. So the moment that they have an intention to do something, and your brain needs to go through its files and figure out who is the right person or the right product or the right service for me, that you're the one that's coming up, right? Because there's always the expected value of marketing, which is catching people at the right time with the right messaging. And that's great. That's great. It's sort of that needle in the haystack, though.
A little bit.
So if you really want to have that long-term relationship, you want to drive that brand recognition, brand recall, and improve your brand value, then you need to communicate your messaging to people consistently. And in particular, when you are trying to do local marketing. So local marketing is a lot, it's utilized a lot by either small or medium-sized businesses or businesses that are at a national level, but that have specific messages that are targeted to communities within an area. So we all know, living in LA, that we are talked to differently, or the way that we talk here is different than the way people talk in San Francisco, the way people talk in Dallas, the way people talk in New York, the way people talk in Madison.
Right.
There's all these different communities that have different experiences, and at a regional level, our experiences are more tied together than what they are at a national level.
How do you lasso a national message for one, because it's just not the same.
It's not the same. So we've been lucky enough to have some good experience recently as well with a client that is tied to the city of Los Angeles.
Right.
And the fact that they're local doesn't mean that the challenge is easier.
Easy. It isn't. They had very specific needs.
Yeah,
who they wanted to reach.
And it's a specific agency or sector within the city of Los Angeles that is very well loved by the community.
For sure.
And that they provide services that are free to the community, and services that they believe the community will find useful to them, or that they hope that the community will find useful to them.
And they hired us because people in the community don't necessarily know that they have free services like they do. And we were tasked with getting the word out and bringing people to them.
And I think the biggest challenge for us was that the services that they provide are, or the services that they wanted us to market are not services that you would expect to come from them, right? So one of those services relates to immigration, and the fact that they provide free immigration support for people in the city of Los Angeles to help them file for citizenship, renew their green card, all of the services that are cumbersome in that legal space of immigration. They provide support through community organizations and legal organizations that help people file for their paperwork and not get their paperwork bounced back and all of these
It's
issues.
it's a safe environment for those seeking information about immigration. It really is, our citizenship.
And one of the challenges that we have here in the city of Los Angeles, as I think is common in border area cities within the United States, is that there's a lot of people that claim to know how to manage immigration processes, and they will charge you egregious amounts of money to help you through those processes. So if you don't have the money to go to an attorney, an immigration attorney, which is really the direction that you should go when you're dealing with legal paperwork, then there are people out there, regrettably, that act as if they know enough to be able to help you, and they end up ripping people off.
Isn't that's pretty much like like every industry, and that's why it's been so great to work with an agency that is offering it for free, and they're trusted.
Yeah, and that they came to the rescue of the community in a sense, right, by providing these services. And the challenge was that because in addition to all of this, they are a government agency, people were hesitant to engage with the brand. So I think that the way that we took to it, and the reason why this is relevant to marketing, is by first identifying who these people were that would benefit from those services, right? And they had already commissioned a strategy that came with it for us to implement, and we are doing the media placement for them still. And where we started was by saying, okay, let's look at the data that's out there. And this is where research as part of your marketing efforts is key. We were able, through the internet, to find publicly available information about, in general, where are the areas where people are filing the most for, or having challenges the most with immigration. And so we were able to create those targeted messages, which you can do from both digital and traditional marketing methods, right? So with digital, you can actually target specific zip codes in your area, right? So if you're a local business, for example, you may want to spend more of your marketing budget in the zip codes that are within a mile or two of your business.
For sure.
Than you would from the ones that are 3 to 5 miles.
The whole city.
From the whole city.
Los Angeles is large.
Yeah. So, and take this from us, where, there's 3.9 million people in the city of Los Angeles.
Too many.
And we've reached 4.3 million of those people. And I know that I said more than the people that there is in the city of Los Angeles.
But there's that many in the county, for sure.
Well, there is people coming in and out of the city of Los Angeles on a daily basis that are not living in the city of Los Angeles. So we reach those people as well. And so our goal to provide some value in this podcast is to tell you to think about these things, right? So if you are going to spend money on Google ads, which is a lot of what local people do, right? Google search, so that when people are searching for something, they find your local business. You may want to consider splitting that campaign, or having whatever agency is doing it, or if you're doing it on your own, splitting your campaign and assigning a larger budget to the people that are closer. Like I've said many times before, humans that are inherently lazy. So if you are within 3 miles of me, I'm going to be more willing to come to you than if you are within 10 miles.
Especially in the city of Los Angeles. Why? Because it takes an hour and a half to go 3 miles.
Yeah, it takes you 7 hours to get across the city in traffic.
True, so
right?
True.
But even if you're not, even if you're anywhere in the U.S., people are way more willing if you're closer.
Right, convenience.
Right? Convenience. So why, if you have a limited amount of budget, limited amount of money that you can spend on your marketing, why wouldn't you concentrate first in reaching the people that are closer to you? Now, another thing that I want to bring up in this, and Dana and I constantly talk about this, is the value of traditional marketing.
Right.
So if we go back to the initial podcast, which I'm hoping you guys listen to because there's a lot of value in them, a key element of marketing is brand recall. And that is the ability to remember your brand at the time of intent. And I said it at the beginning of this podcast. So in order for you to drive brand recall, it used to be that you needed to be in front of someone 5 to 7 times within a 2-week period.
That's long gone.
With all the information that is out there, the bombardment of ads that are out there, it's much harder for your brain to keep track of all this.
And to rise and cut through it, right? So how many more times is it? I mean, it's like the 10 to 15 range.
10 to 15 now.
Right.
Yeah, we use 10 to 15 now because that's more realistic.
Meaning people need to see your brand 10 to 15 times before they can even bring it to the surface of their brain to recall it.
Yeah. So don't think that just putting your money on Facebook or you're just putting your money on search is the right strategy, because it may not be, because people may not be on Facebook or on search all the time looking for your services. Right. They may be looking for other things, but maybe not for your services, right? So you also want to look at what are other opportunities that I have within my local area and that I could distribute my budget into that will broaden my reach and that will allow me to be part of those 10 to 14 impressions that I need.
With our current client that Carlos was mentioning, and just out of respect because we all sign non-disclosure agreements and privacy agreements, that's why we're not saying who it is, but we can talk about the type of campaign, which is immigration, as Carlos said, one of the campaigns that we're doing. But it was super important because it was a city initiative that it covered the city. And to his point, we all think everybody's got a smartphone or they're all looking in a certain way to find things. But a lot of people are hustling and out on the street and taking the bus and getting on the train and, sitting at bus stops and so many other things. And that's why for the demographics that we were trying to reach, super crucial to show their advertising out in our city.
Well, and think about all the time we spend in traffic here.
So much.
In LA. All the time you spend in traffic in New York. And even then, when you're not in areas that have a lot of traffic, how much time do people spend on their computers versus how much time they spend outside? How much time they spend at a restaurant? That if you have that, maybe that bus bench,
that's right,
outside that restaurant, your target people are going to see it, right? So what really matters here is understanding who are you trying to reach? Who are the people that you're trying to talk to? Who are the people that pay for your service? That are the ones that engage with your service, that are the ones that need to be reminded of your service. And then determine whether or not those people are in any path around your business in a way that if at that time I see it, I will know that you're near to my house, for example.
Right.
And again, that whole convenience factor will kick in. So don't think that traditional mediums don't work anymore, because it's not true. Television still works, that it's very expensive. However, if you're a local business, you can also buy local TV ads, right? And you end up on the major networks too,
right,
but at a local level. So those are available. Radio, highly effective, in particular with Hispanics, for example.
Right.
I believe it's like 98% of Hispanics will listen to radio within a month.
Right, and not just in Spanish, right? We were advertised since iHeart is one of our supporters. We advertise on iHeart with this particular client, and you'd think iHeart, and we advertise during some Dodger baseball games because the demographic for immigration happens to fall into that target and that time. So we do radio ads within that.
Yeah.
So and I do want to say too, you can spend as much money, we can spend as much money as they give us. So that's not the problem. But it isn't unattainable to have a billboard that's close to your office if you're trying to, or your restaurant. It's not unattainable financially to have that. So people think, I used to look at billboards and, that's going to be $10,000, but there are things that can be done for $3,000 a billboard. So it's not something not to think about. It's worth investigating.
And what you need to think about is, am I going to get the return on my investment? Because I have seen a lot of experience with local clients that would come to us and say, I've spent all this money on Google search and I didn't get anybody. And I spent my entire budget on Google search and I didn't get anybody. Well, did you even look to see if the people in your area were interested in looking for the services through search? Right? There's services that people are going to search for. There's products that people are going to search for. And then there's products and services that you just need to remind people that they are available.
And what's interesting, what Carlos said about like going on Google and searching a pizza, I need a pizza. I'm going to go on Yelp and look for a pizza. So there's advertising on Yelp. That might be better for you and cheaper for you than going and trying to compete on Google.
Yeah. So what we're trying to say here is, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Explore.
Try different things. And always tracking, always looking at getting feedback on, how did you hear about us?
Always ask.
And really try and have an objective view of it, because I know in our case, for example, because our clients are bigger, we've had clients run these surveys and people say, I saw it on TV. Well, we weren't
advertising on TV.
That specific one. So, take things with a grain of salt.
And last thing I want to say, like about a billboard as an example, there is data out there with the companies that we work with. A company, one of them is Outfront Media, which is a big international brand, and they have data about how many millions of people pass that billboard every single day. So, do they look at the billboard, remember that they saw it on a billboard, and tell you about that in a survey? Probably not, but that's what Carlos is saying. 90 days it would start with that recall. I always see that. I always see that billboard because I pass by that twice a day, every single day. So that's where you might not go, what's the return on the investment, and might not see it in a way that's tangible, but it makes an impact when you're local.
It definitely does.
Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe to and share Wicked Marketing on Apple Podcasts and write an awesome review for us. We are also on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. See you next time.